I've pretty much used the same kind of setup for about the last 25 years in terms of where everything goes. I've had the same layout of the drums. Probably quite a few people 25 years ago had a drum set this kind of shape, and now they've condensed it down to, you know, one tom here, one floor tom, a much smaller thing. But I like the size of it because there's a lot of option of pitch in the drums and a lot of option of color in the cymbals. So, for instance, I use 3 China cymbals, a little 12-inch Oriental China trash, a 16, and then a 19-inch ultra hammered. And that really covers all the China sounds that I feel I need, you know. At the moment I'm using a 21-inch Dark K Complex Ride 2. It's a beautiful cymbal, absolutely beautiful. I really like that. And I'm using a pair of the new A series thin crash 19 and 17, and my favorite crash, which is a K 18-inch K Dark Custom Crash, just perfect crash cymbal. You know, there's some effects, so there's kind of 2 or 3 different layers of sounds, things that you can ride on, you know, the 14-inch light hi-hats, very delicate, and the ride cymbal, and then you've got small sounds like the bells and the little kind of crash bell thing that I have in the front, and then the China sounds, which are a little bit more aggressive, and then the crash cymbals. So in terms of you know, aggression, there's a nice curve of, because one of the greatest things about drums is that there probably couldn't be a more dynamic instrument that you can play the quietest note and the loudest note almost one after another. You can't really do that with a trombone, you know what I mean, or a clarinet. It's a very dynamic instrument, so the advantages of playing drums is that you can make lots of dynamics and colors very, very quickly and have a large palette to choose all your things from. The Sonor drums I've been playing for 12 years. They always sound good. This kit I'm playing today, I only saw this morning for the first time, but I've never found a bad one. I've played hundreds of Sonor drum sets, and after a couple of hours of tuning and kind of carefully setting up the drums, they pretty much all sound great to me. I've never been unhappy with the sound of them. Same with the Zildjian cymbals. I mean, every day I get a brand new set of cymbals. These aren't ones I've picked. These have been picked for me. And I've never sat there and thought, oh, this doesn't sound good. They always sound great. So that's a good reason to play Zildjian cymbals, right? My Sonor Protean, my Sonor Protean snare drum I have here today too. I'm very, very happy with that. So whenever I see that, you know, I know it's going to be fine. Sometimes you turn up to a situation with a rented drum set and the snare drum is the biggest problem, because it's really so much of your character comes out in the snare drum and the hi-hat. So if I've got a good pair of hi-hats and a good snare drum, it's going to be a good day. They're a different kind of sound. They give the drum more focus. They're very, very rigid. So they're rigid like a die-cast hoop. But they don't suck up the tone in the way that a die-cast hoop does. The die-cast hoop is very nice for tuning because it's so rigid, but I don't like the sound of the die-cast hoop on these drums. So the S hoop is kind of in the middle of that. Plus, because the flange goes like this, if you want to put a 0 ring inside, it never comes off.